Welcome to WMUL-FM training. I'm Mike Stanley. This is the 16th video in our series on Rivendell Radio Automation. This video will cover how to use RD Log Edit to create, edit, and delete logs. When you first open the program, you will see this long list of the available logs. There are three different types of logs: music logs, program template logs, and program episode logs. That is a distinction that WMUL makes when creating and editing logs. As far as Rivendell is concerned, a log is a log. The music log is the computer-created music log for each day. This is the log that DJs will play from. Program template logs and program episode logs are used by non-music programs. Each program has a program template log that contains all the imaging the program needs and in the order it will be needed. A program episode log is a copy of the template that is created for each specific episode of the program. You can then insert episode-specific items such as packages and sound bites. I want to reiterate that WMUL makes this distinction between these three types of logs. Rivendell treats all logs the same. It will not stop you from trying to load a template and play it as an episode log. These top two are program episode logs. This log was for the Marshall vs. Pittsburgh football game that has since been canceled. This log was for a hypothetical August 4th episode of News Center 88. This next block of logs are all program template logs for various news and sportscasts. At the bottom are the music logs. The music log names all have the format WMUL-month-month-day-day. The log WMUL-0828 is for August 28th. You can use the filter box to search for a specific log. The Show Recent Logs box seems to only show those logs that were created recently, not necessarily those logs that were modified recently. We will now cover some of the columns of metadata on the screen. This first field is a quick look status of the log. It will be either a green check or a red X. This is a quick estimate of whether the log is ready for air based on whether it has music, traffic, and voice tracks. A red X does not mean that the log is unairable or that it won't air. It just means that either music, traffic, or voice tracks are missing. In the case of all these music logs, they have a green dot on their music column, which means that music was successfully imported. The white dot on traffic means that traffic is not needed. The red dot on tracks means that voice tracks are needed but haven't been recorded yet. This number tells that 0 out of 123 voice tracks have been recorded. In the case of all these template logs, they have 3 white dots to show that they do not need music or traffic or voice tracks. The next column is the name. Each name must be unique. Spaces are not permitted in names, so we use underscores. There are various standard prefixes for the names, both for templates and for episodes. Consult the manual for the complete list. Description is a longer description of the log. It does not have to be unique, and it can contain spaces. The service column should always be WMUL. That field is for larger organizations that have multiple stations. I have already covered the music, traffic, and tracks columns. Valid from and valid to are the dates during which the log is valid and allowed to be played. The valid from will usually be always, and the valid to will usually be TFN, which means till further notice. Auto refresh tells you whether auto refresh is turned on for that log. We will cover that in video 17, saving and refreshing the log in RD AirPlay. Next, we will cover the buttons at the bottom of the screen. The Add button brings up a dialog to create a new log. The Edit button opens the selected log for editing. You can also double-click on the log in the list. The Delete button deletes the selected log. Deletion is permanent, so use it with caution. The Voice Tracker button will open the voice tracker if the log has the voice track marker set in it. Voice tracking will be covered in a future video. Next, we will cover how to edit a log. There are 2 ways to open a log for editing. You can double-click on the log in the list, or select it and click the Edit button. This is the name of the log. You cannot change it. This is the description. This you can change. The description does not have to be unique, and it can contain spaces. You can use this box to change the service. However, we only have the one service, WMUL. This box lets you turn auto refresh on and off. We will cover auto refresh in video 17, saving and refreshing the log in RD AirPlay. You can use these controls to set the start and end date for the log. You might do this to make certain the log does not air before or after a specific date. You can use these controls to automatically delete the log on a certain date. You can use this with your program episode logs to make certain that the list doesn't get cluttered with old episode logs. The music logs are set to automatically delete after 15 days. There are two ways to add a cart to the log: using the Insert Cart button or dragging and dropping from RD Library. First, we will cover using the Insert Cart button. Select the song that you wish to push down. If the log is blank, select the End of Log item. Click the Insert Cart button to bring up the Edit Log Entry dialog box. From here, you again have two options. If you know the cart number of the cart you wish to add, you can type it into the cart box. You can also click the Select Cart button to bring up the Select Cart dialog box. This is the same miniature version of RD Library that is under the Add button in RD AirPlay. Select your cart and click OK. You can use these controls to set a timed event. See video 08, RD AirPlay Timed Events. Use this control to set the transition type. See video 15, Log Transitions. These controls are the same as those in the Edit Event dialog box in RD AirPlay. You can also drag and drop carts from RD Library the same as you would in RD AirPlay. You can also add an entry to the log for a cart that does not yet exist. You might do this when you know that you are going to air a package in a specific place, but you have not yet ingested the package. Click the Insert Cart button and type a number from the non-existent cart into the cart field. And click OK. The entry will be read and it will say Invalid Cart. Once a cart is ingested with that number, the entry here will be updated. You can insert meta carts in the log by clicking the Insert Meta button. With this button, you can insert a note marker, a voice track marker, or a chain to marker. You can edit a log entry by either double-clicking on it or highlighting it and clicking the Edit button. Click the Delete button to delete the selected cart from the log. Use the up and down arrows to move the selected cart up and down. If you need to move it by more than a few spaces, it is probably easier to use the Cut and Paste buttons. The Save button saves the log without closing it. The Save As button lets you save the log with a new name and open the new copy for editing. You will use this when you make a copy of a program template log to create a program episode log. Use the Play and Stop buttons to preview the selected song. Just like in RD AirPlay, if you start previewing a song and then select a different one, the new one will start playing. This control lets you set the time display to be either scheduled times or estimated times. For music logs, the scheduled time will be the time that this scheduler software picked. For most non-music logs, the scheduled times will be 0. The estimated times take into account the actual length of the carts, including voice tracks that have or have not yet been recorded. Next, we will cover how to create a new log. Click the Add button. Give it a name using the prefix in the manual. The name must be unique. Spaces are not allowed, so use underscores instead. The service should always be WMUL. Click OK. The new log will be created and opened. The description will default to the same as the name, but with the word log added. Next, I will cover how to make a copy of a log. You will do this when creating a program episode log from a program template log. For instance, if I wanted to make a program episode log for News Center 88 on August 27th. Open the program template log, in this case, News Center 88, 5 p.m. Click the Save As button. Enter a name. Use the prefix and format described in the manual. In this case, NC88 _ 0827. Click OK. RD Log Edit makes the copy and opens it for me. You can see that the name at the top is now NC88 _ 0827. I will now change the description to fit that this is an episode and not a template. Now I can make episode-specific edits that I need to make to this log. I can insert packages and sound bites for that day's newscast. Always make a copy of the template before you make any changes. This makes certain that you always have a clean standard template of that program's log. You can create the program episode log earlier in the day or earlier in the week, even weeks or months in advance. As you can see, the log for the Pittsburgh football game that was originally to occur on September 12th was created on July 20th. That does show that you might not want to create a log too far in advance because the game might get canceled. That concludes our video on RD Log Edit. We covered the 3 different types of logs: music logs, program template logs, and program episode logs. We then covered the metadata fields, how to create a new log, make a copy of an existing log, and how to edit an existing log. Our next video covers saving and refreshing the log in RD AirPlay. Thanks for watching.